Shalom, shalom. All right, first and foremost, before I get started, as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Shem Yahushai, Bashim Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, waking up the hopeful elect and risking their lives and freedoms to do so. Definitely more so now than ever before. This is the Brother Zion Amok. That's the trip by camp. And it's going to be a quick lesson, all right, regarding this water Flint situation. All right, as you can see on the screen, right, making reference, it says we're more than 10 years later, right, Flint declares its water safe after replacing lead pipes, but health issues and doubts persist. All right? Hey, the question is why and how? Oh, because the devil's ruling. Devil's rule. This is why you don't have clean water. This is why you got to worry about clean water in the first place. The devil's rule. The so-called white man, known in the scriptures as Esau, Edom, which the word Edom means red. Adawam in the Hebrew means red. Alright, he's the self-proclaimed or so-called white. Alright, but in reality, when you look at him, you're looking at a red man. Right? But he did that basically to hide his identity by calling himself white. But anyway, hey, this is the devil we're dealing with, man. That you have to worry about. Alright, is the water safe to drink? Is it lead in the pipes? Is it fluoride in the water? Right? Is it prescription drugs in the water? Right? Are there any minerals in the water? You know? That's just one clear-cut sign showing, hey, we got to get out of here. You know, you should want better for yourself. You shouldn't have to purchase bottled water, right? And when you purchase bottled water, right, your water should be in a plastic container. You see, because plastic is poison. It's poison. It's not for human consumption. You know, when you drink that water, that plastic leaches off the water and basically goes into your bloodstream. It causes all type of neurological disorders, you know, inflammation in the body, right, digestive issues, you know, even to the point of how do you say, you know, prostate issues, you know. So let's just read a little bit of this. It says, it's funny that they even highlighting the Edomite concerning the story because, you know, Jake is the one that's taking the brunt of this water issue here in Flint. But it said Melissa Mays said she may never trust the water from her Flint, Michigan tap again. anyway, it says, because they have transgressed the laws, right? I.e., the land Sabbaths. You know, this devil, he doesn't uphold that, right? He doesn't seek the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai. You know, for he can't, he's a bastard. You know, he's a heathen. Right? Heathens are not going to call on the name of the Heavenly Father and His Son. Right? He doesn't have that relationship. Right? Because a covenant was never established. Right? With the whole world. It was only established with the nation of Israel. Right? Anyway, see, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant, therefore have the curse devoured the earth. Right? Because shit, water ain't just messed up, you know, here in Michigan or Flint. Hey man, you had these problems all over the earth. Right? Because it's this thing, right, to fluorinate the water. You know, that's his, you know, the hell, bleach, chlorine, right, in the water. That's his way of so-called cleaning. You know what I'm saying? But these chemicals are they're poisonous. You know what I'm saying? You gotta bear in mind, you gotta drink water, right? You gotta wash up, bathe in water. You know, you may use your water to, you know, clean vegetables, fruits, your dishes, all of that. So all those chemicals, you know, it's not a trace amount, as they would say, right? Because your body itself requires water. You gotta have water, all right? You get your H2Os, you know, in your fruits or whatnot, but your body also needs to consume water, alkaline, clean water, which that's hard to come by. You know what I'm saying? Or air, or if you can't obtain it, it's expensive. You know, it's expensive. So, let's see here. It says, therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. That's right. Hey, eventually, America's gonna be burned, literally, by thermonuclear fire. You know? So yeah, we're going through it, man. We live in a poisonous society. That's why the scriptures say, the advice is to arise and depart, because, you know, this is not your rest. This is not a safe haven. This is not a, you know, a place of refuge. You understand? You're held captive, you have a captive here, and he doesn't want to let you go, just like Pharaoh. You know, you had these so-called white people that say, oh, go back to Africa, as if that's where we're from. But in reality, right, the elites of this society, not the Joe Six-Pack cracker, but the elites, they don't want you going no place, because, hey, we make up the economy in terms of the dollars we spend, in terms of things that we create, in terms of entertainment, right? This world really revolves around us, right? At the end of the day, you know. This is I just want to hit this point. part of a hand from time to time shalt thou drink. God, you know, we gotta drink water in measure. This shit, especially when this Flint crisis was at its peak. You had to do just like that. You had to boil water. You know, hell, even now you still got to do that. Just according to the article. You know, the water coming out yellow, so you don't have an abundance of water. You know what I'm saying? You got so many pots. Right? You got to boil that water, filter it. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just drink water to your heart's content. You know, you gotta be strategic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you may have a hot water heater, you know, that needs repair, right? It only can heat up so much water. You know what I'm saying? Your showers, you gotta take time showers because you only got so much hot water, right? Like this, like Jay got it, you know, has to tolerate and deal with these type of circumstances, you know, to the point it's really like it's normal. Jake, you know, growing up in poverty, growing up in the hood, that's kind of like regular. You know what I'm saying? It's only as a reason to where these so-called white people are starting, you know, to experience the woes that we've always dealt with, right? And that's just pursuant to Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, to where the Lord said, hey, you're going to put these curses upon our enemies, you know? So the water Yahweh should never shut, right? We're watching a transition of power. America is circling a dream, right? Esau is going down, and Jacob is on the come up, right? But just want to share a few words, you know, concerning this water crisis. For it's a damn shame, you know. We got to get out of here. So, hey, Lord willing, just edifying with that. Give all praise and honor and glory due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Akakodash. Demonis to the apostles and elders, a great millstone every will. Peace and salutation to the Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity.